half in the bag.
The mummy, I saw it. It's coming this way.
Screw the mummy.
Hey, Mike, are you excited for another beautiful spring in Milwaukee?
The National Weather Service says a radar confirmed a tornado touchdown.
Welcome back. Take a look at this. The threat of tornadoes, winds and hail remains across the central United States this morning.
Supercell on the front side. Again, a couple more embedded cells here.
Really just devastating here.
What? Oh, was that a bit?
I guess so.
I'm sorry, I was distracted. I felt as if an evil presence was trying to speak to me telepathically. It told me to hurt myself. So I went and saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I knew that delivery was going to be perfect, so I started laughing at my own delivery before it happened.
And then ruined it. Spoilers! The title of this movie is a lie. Lee Cronin does not play the mummy.
The weird thing is, not weird, but I guess it's somewhat noteworthy, is that I did not see a trailer or any promotional stills, videos, anything but the poster. Lee Cronin's The Mummy with the
face, yeah.
The mummy and the thing. I didn't see, so I had no idea what this was.
I knew there was a trailer. I didn't watch the trailer.
And I did not look up the reviews. Oftentimes I'll look and see what the Rotten Tomato score is, audience and critics. I just said, nope, I'm just going to watch this cold.
That's the best way to go in.
And
I don't know what anybody thinks of this movie, other than me and probably you.
Well, it's dropping rapidly.
Oh.
It's in a splat category.
Okay.
I think it was at 47% when I checked it when I got out of the movie. And last time I checked it a few minutes ago, it's at 46. The audience score is 77% because it does deliver on squish sound effects and blood and disgusting, creepy moments, if you're lucky enough to see them.
Here's our annual complaint about modern cinematography. The movie's dim and murky.
They're already typing that it's the projectionist and the brightness of the bulb.
They said that about Weapons when I complained about Weapons looking dark, and then I rewatched Weapons at home and it was still dim. People have just been now accustomed to movies looking like this, unfortunately.
It looked good. Like, it looked like a horror movie. Like, it was very atmospheric and moody.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the issue with a lot of these movies. It's not necessarily the lighting, it's like the color grading. Because they shoot with that wide dynamic range and then they just dial everything down so much. Where you can see like where, the light is coming from. There is light on the actors, but they dial everything down. So there's hardly any difference between the highlights and the shadows. And I don't know why.
And remaster this movie.
Just crank everything up. Crank it all up. But it wouldn't be worth it though, because the movie's not good. So just move on. It does look better than last year's The Wolfman. That is probably the worst example as far as like just super dim
or is it the best example?
Well, the best example of looking terrible. It's the best example of being bad.
Well, no, I mean because it's also a Universal movie monster.
Well, that's worth talking about. Yeah, that movie was like, we're gonna make The Wolfman, but it'll have nothing to do with The Wolfman. And then this movie's like, we're gonna make The Mummy, and it'll have nothing to do with The Mummy.
Why in God's name isn't this Evil Dead 2?
I mean, it basically is.
Do they not want to continue with that?
They're making another Evil Dead. They went and made a new one without Lee Cronin. So he said, oh, okay, I'll just make my own then.
Oh,
we've got Evil Dead at home.
What happened?
I don't know what happened because this movie reminded me a lot of different movies, and none of them are related to mummies.
This was the exact same story as the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah.
Who did that not do well?
That did great.
Why didn't they hire Lee Cronin again?
I know Sam Raimi, he likes to bring in a new, like, up-and-coming director with each one of these movies. So there's an Evil Dead movie coming out later this year, and then there's another Evil Dead movie coming out next year. But yeah, for most of this movie, I was thinking about The Exorcist. This is basically, and this won't mean much to you, but it'll mean something to somebody out there when I describe this movie. It's called Lee Cronin's The Mummy, but what it really is Lucio Fulci's The Exorcist. And I like Fulci, but that's his thing, is like his movies are sometimes unintentionally funny, sometimes genuinely creepy and atmospheric, and then sometimes like horrifically violent in a gross, squishy way. And that's this movie.
Oh, or Lee Cronin's The Mummercists?
The Mummercists. And then in the third act, it just becomes another Evil Dead movie. It becomes the same Evil Dead movie that he already made.
So, okay, we're talking about Lee Cronin's The Mummy. And you told me they had to call this Lee Cronin's The Mummy because they are now still doing the Mummy reboot with Brendan Fraser, which is going to still be part of the Universal movie monster universe, which is not the Tom Cruise one that started, that stalled out.
That was the start and end of the Dark Universe. Remember that?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. See here, Jay, I wrote down, I don't know why I did this. I was just curious.
Well, it's either this or talk about Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So.
Well, okay. So 1999 is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. 2017 is the infamous Tom Cruise one, and then 2026. 1966, Wolfman.
The Universal Wolfman is like 30s, 40s.
And then there's a Wolfman in 2010.
Oh, the Benicio one, right? Benicio
Yes,
del Toro.
Benicio. Then there's the 2025 Wolfman, the dark one. I want to say that Jack Nicholson was also in a movie called Wolf.
It's just called
with
Wolf.
Him and Michelle Pfeiffer.
That was 90s. That was post Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
They did that, and then they did Kenneth Branagh made a Frankenstein, and then Jack Nicholson's in a Wolfman.
94 is the Kenneth Branagh Frankenstein. Dracula 25. Dracula. Well, I mean, there was probably 300 Dracula titles, TV movies, and shit like that. But I picked the biggest one, 79, 92. And then 2025. Isn't everyone sick of this?
Well, there was also Nosferatu last year.
And Nosferatu.
Which is basically Dracula.
And then, Frankenstein 31. Frankenstein 94.
Is that that's probably the Kenneth Branagh one then, right? 94?
Yeah. Kenneth Branagh did the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and the Mummy. And then there's I, Frankenstein in 2014. Also Kenneth Branagh. Victor Frankenstein 2015. Kenneth Branagh is in it as well.
Oh, wow.
And that one he plays Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay.
And then, of course, the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein in 2025.
Yes.
With that tall guy.
Jacob Elordi?
Elote.
I don't know what his name is.
Elote.
He's on that pervert show, right?
Elote is Spanish for corn.
Well, buenos dias.
The mainstay of the Alamo diet is corn. Corn can be prepared many ways.
Because in this film they have an abuelita. What's the difference between an abuela and an abuelita?
I have no idea.
I think both mean grandma.
Okay. You forgot a movie. The infamous The Bride from just a couple months ago.
I actually did write down that. I could only find two attempts. The Bride of Frankenstein.
There's not a lot of Bride of Frankenstein, but it's still in that world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so does The Bride and Del Toro's Frankenstein and none of these are part of the same. Not MCU. What would it be called? It
would be the MCU, the Monster Cinematic Universe.
UMCU, Universal Monster.
Sure.
But does Universal own Dracula's? But got to be public domain. Same with Mummy.
Yeah. No, there's the Universal branded versions of them. Mm-hmm. So if you're to make a new Dracula movie, you can't have it look too much like Bela Lugosi because that's Universal's.
Or the bride can't have the big hair with
exactly. Yeah. So that recent Bride movie, she just has kind of frizzy hair that sticks out.
Unless you're doing satire like Young Frankenstein,
well,
then
of
you
course.
you parody the.
Yeah.
Well, let's start at the beginning. It stars the guy who was in Midsommar.
The guy in the bear suit.
Not to be to Quentin Tarantino, but he's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
Who dare you?
On our review show.
How dare you? How dare you? Dare you have an opinion that's not positive? No, he's not I don't know.
His bland
he probably
performance
follows us on Twitter.
No.
I've been watching you guys since I was 6.
Oh, sorry, you suck in this film. I'll say the worst part about the movie is the fact that he's so
You don't
boring.
give no fucks.
I don't. Because we'll just go into spoilers. The end of the movie is the end of The Exorcist, where he's on top of the girl and he makes the evil go into him. He sacrifices himself to save his daughter, which would work better if he started the movie as like a shitty father, a bad father, and what happens to the daughter is sort of the result of him not paying attention, but he's not like malicious, he's not
innocent.
an asshole, he's innocent. She just happens to be in the backyard and he misses when she gets abducted.
Too focused on his news story.
But they needed to paint him as a bigger asshole, so he is redeemed at the end when he sacrifices himself. He's bland through the whole movie.
Well, and you have to put that screwdriver in and tighten some of these screws. You have the mother be the main protagonist. She's sort of aloof and in denial, and he's the one who's doing the research. He's looking up the names in the cards. He's calling the detective in Egypt, and you have to have him be like, "Honey, she's fine. Give her some Tylenol. I've got to go do my news story."
Sure.
He's like a monster.
You don't have to play it comical, but you need some sort
I'm
of
exaggerating
change.
for impact reasons.
Right.
I'm being hyperbolic
Sure.
when I'm suggesting things like that. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's vain because he's a news anchor. Remember he was talking about his. He was like overly critical of his performance.
Oh yeah, he's concerned about his hand gestures.
And he's talking with his hands. I really thought that was going to pay off, but because. That set up the little girl's watching him, his daughter's watching him on TV, and he's doing a lot of hand talking, and he's like, I never noticed that before. And then when the daughter gets kidnapped or goes missing, they go to the police station, and the female cop is telling the other male cop, she's like, in Egyptian or Arabic or whatever language they're speaking, she says, he's a news reporter. And then he goes, I don't recognize his face, but his hands.
Yeah.
The red carpet was rolled right out for that joke. I mean, it wasn't the time for it.
No.
It was a very serious scene, but having him be a little disconnected and vain and like not dismissive of the girl's problems, and
So he
then
has
at the end-
somewhere to go as a character.
Are you talking about a growth or an arc?
A character arc, yes. Because that's the problem. So much of this movie is devoted to the mystery of what happened to the daughter, why she is now a little mummy monster, and
It's explained at the beginning.
it's explained at the very beginning, and then we just have to watch through the whole movie of them, that Egyptian cop lady exploring it, and it just goes on, and it's not interesting at all, because one, we already know, and two, we're not invested in these characters. And that's so much of the movie is dedicated to that.
Yeah.
Like I said, boring, and then these spikes of little, like, shocking exorcist moments.
It opens with there's Egyptian woman who kind of look like Egyptian Sandra Bullocks, and then they have 3 kids in the back seat and they're singing a song and blah 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 blah, and they go back to their house and the bird in the cage, I'm assuming it was a canary, to hit you with the metaphor really too hard over the head. The canary dies and is leaking blood out, presumably from the power of the mummy that's being held in the family basement, near a mini pyramid that covers a hidden underground chamber where the mummy is being hid in a coffin. And for 82 generations, the bloodline of this particular Egyptian family has been making sure this mummy stays locked in his coffin, because the mummy is just basically some kind of ancient demon named Pazuzu.
I am Pazuzu.
So we see the whole thing unfold. We're told exactly what's going on.
No, you explain it all. This is like the people have talked about, like, the Netflixification of storytelling. It's like that's a stipulation when you make a Netflix movie, is you have to reiterate the same information over and over for people that aren't paying attention.
Netflix, the standard way to make an action movie, that we learned was, you usually have like 3 set pieces, one in the first act, one in the second, and one in the third. And now they're like, can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes to get somebody, we want people to stay tuned in. And it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue because people are on their phones while they're watching, you know what I mean?
This is a theatrical release. You don't need to do that.
I mean, people might still be on their phones.
I mean, that's entirely possible that people are still flipping through their phones, mostly out of boredom. With this one,
No, they're shining the flashlight at the screen.
so they can see what's happening.
Where are they at? Are they in the basement?
Are they in the basement? Are they in a sarcophagus? Are they in the street?
Abuela needs to get some new light bulbs.
Which character is this? Oh, you mentioned that lady, the Egyptian lady, looked like Sandra Bullock. I was thinking she reminded me of Sally Hawkins from Bring Her Back, which this also reminded me of. That's another like sacrifice children to keep my child alive movie.
Yeah.
That's a very mean and nasty movie, but that feels like justified with the story being told and the emotions that are conveyed through the characters. And this movie is just such a flat line.
Well, we were talking, a little while ago about Lee Cronin and his films. I liked The Hole in the Ground,
Yes.
which is also about a dead child coming back to life.
Goes missing.
It's like a Pet Cemetery kind of situation. He comes back and he's like evil. It's been a while, but I remember.
I haven't seen it since it came out.
I remember the atmosphere. I mean, this guy's good with atmosphere.
Yes.
I'll just say that. If he has good actors, that the Midsummer guy is not good. Everyone else was good. Everyone else was fine, but that guy kind of stood out as it's kind of wooden and. I don't know. He sounded like AI. He looked and sounded like AI. Hey, maybe he's gonna have tons of work. I hear AI's getting big. That's a funny idea for a movie.
A fake AI?
A man who is so bad at acting and wooden that he substitutes for AI because the movie studio's AI program is too expensive to use.
Okay.
So he's like, just have me do it.
Or the computer is like on the fritz, someone spilled coffee on it.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
We need a terrible actor, stat. Call the guy from the bear suit.
Yeah, and he's on like a green screen, and all the other scenes are shot, but he has to interact with like nothing, and
he does it perfectly.
And yes, his name will be Alan Ingersoll.
Okay. That's the title of the movie, but you have an emphasis on the letters on the poster. All right. Lee Cronin's
Adam Ingersoll.
Adam Ingersoll.
I don't know. I picked Ingersoll. I think there's a company called Ingersoll Rand that makes like construction equipment or medical devices. We're gonna put their company logo up now and just say, go ahead and check out their website. It's more interesting than Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
They sell great products, maybe.
Great products, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know what they. Hopefully they don't make boner pills. Whoops.
Whoops.
Anyways.
Such a spectacular movie we're talking about.
No, we're just gonna pitch our Adam Ingersoll movie.
Yeah. Oh, but you're talking about Lee Cronin.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his
Okay.
Recurring themes
Of hurting and children and being disgusting.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Grandma. It's fun to be dead.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
It's become a trend, yeah, with like Bring Her Back, The Evil Dead. What else? There's a bunch.
Weapons.
Weapons, yeah. Weapons at least like feels like it's about something. This movie, and I liked his Evil Dead well enough, but they both just feel like an excuse for like cheap shock value. It's just a way to make people uncomfortable, like a shorthand, as opposed to doing anything like actually creepy.
And just sort of disgusting, grungy, like that apartment in Evil Dead Rise. Everything's like brown and gross and sick and like.
Yeah, even this, it's like a nice house, but the way it's so dimly lit and the way it's shot, it looks gross.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice house from the outside, whatever location they shot from the outside. Then the inside, Abuela has like 4 light bulbs and they're all like yellow and brown. And I was laughing because at one point, a possessed girl, Katie, climbs through the walls
Yes.
And it's like the wall, behind the walls, it's like 6 feet.
It's like another room.
I mean, unless this house was built in the 1700s in like New England, it's like a mansion. Maybe that stuff exists still, but you know how they have the slats?
Plaster and lath is what that's called.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Plaster and lath. A house in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere, was probably built somewhat recently, and it just doesn't read that. It reads like 1800s house. But then behind that, there's like a 4 to 6 foot gap before, and then the outer shell of the house is brick. And that house from the outside did not look like it was made of brick. I don't know. It was just like, it was like a horror movie set.
Yeah. Well, and then they added around her bedroom, because they basically keep her locked in her room once they realize that she's an evil mummy girl.
Yeah.
And then they added, I guess it's supposed to be like mold or something growing out from around her door. It's so dimly lit you can barely see it, but yeah, it's like mold and shit growing all over the walls.
Yeah.
It's like much like just doing horrible things to children. It's like a quick shorthand for creepiness.
Yeah.
And I felt that way about all the technology in the movie too. There's we have to play an old recording, so we pull out an old cassette tape that's all warbly, and then we have to show some old footage, so it's an old VHS tape, and everybody, I guess, still has VCRs. They show the Egyptian cop lady's computer, and it's like an Apple IIe.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's using all this old shit, and it doesn't have that like something like It Follows has like weird technology that feels out of place and out of time, but that like works with that movie because it doesn't take place in any particular time.
Right.
This is modern. It's very clearly modern.
It contrasts the modern day stuff of, I think he's got a cell phone. He's talking on the cell phone. He works for CNN or some modern news company, and everything in Egypt is like disgusting and looks like it's from like the 1920s, like the hospital. I'm sure Cairo has modern hospitals and they and modern buildings. See, those are the things where it's like in certain movies, the style being gross and creepy and weird can work for the movie. In this, it always just felt at odds with it because I just didn't like buy the storyline. I thought it's just a cheap excuse to do Evil Dead stuff at the end.
Well, that's what makes it stand out even more in a movie that very clearly wants to be The Exorcist for so much of it. Because you watch that original Exorcist, the creepiest stuff in the movie is when they're doing tests and experiments on her in a modern day hospital. It's very like sterile and contemporary for the time it was made. She's not in a creepy, mold-ridden hospital from the 1920s.
Yeah.
You need that contrast.
Well, and there's the idea too of, a demon in the Catholicism sense, like spirituality, like that's the evil presence, and it's unknown and it's scary. Mummies are just people that are wrapped up in. It may have worked in 1923 when we're like, mummies are new.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird?
Well, that's why I think they had to add all the like lore and mythology to this movie to make up for the fact that mummies aren't interesting. It's like the last time they made a mummy, it was the Tom Cruise. Oh, make it an action movie. Because what do you do with a mummy? Maybe just don't make mummy movies. How about that?
Mummies are probably the most fragile thing on earth. Like, they would just turn into dust.
The mummy, I saw it. It's coming this way.
Screw the mummy.
Please do something.
The mummy stuff aside, the 8-year-old daughter gets kidnapped, and then they cut to 8 years later. And then, they're trying to fly the mummy out from the family homestead.
Because there's going to be a flood.
And they don't want the mummy to get out when the flood waters come in, I guess. So the plane's flying out, something happens. I'm guessing the mummy used magic to infect the pilots to make them crash the plane.
Sure.
And then some guy sees the plane crash, the mummy is there. Then they bring it to a Egyptologist, man in a dark, dingy basement who can barely see what he's doing. smoking cobwebs everywhere because Cairo.
Because spooky.
They do not have modern scientific facilities in Cairo.
They don't even have electricity, apparently.
The entire nation of Egypt has 17 light bulbs. And only one, they got one for that scene.
Okay.
And he's like, what am I looking at? So immediately in this very dimly lit room with no other people around, just one lady, but he just starts like peeling the bandages off.
Ugh.
That stuff's done in like a highly sterilized, hermetically sealed scientific laboratory with blinding white lights on a giant table, and they take weeks to remove the very delicate, and he's just like, we gotta find out what's going on. Look at the face. Maybe he was an underground, like, sketchy kind of Egyptologist.
Sure.
Got paid under the table. I don't know. But then they see that's a little girl, and then they call the couple.
Hello? Mr. and Mrs. Cannon. I'm Deputy Chief at the U.S. Embassy. Your daughter, Katie, has been found.
See, this is where the movie lost me. Because they're like, we found your daughter. She's not in great shape. Come back to Egypt and take a look.
And then just take her home immediately. Lug her up the stairs in a wheelchair in the first, like, laugh out loud moment.
I was just wondering, I wonder how that flight went.
They're up in first class. She's just sitting there, and they're like trying to put like a kitty cocktail in her mouth.
No. They don't have money for first class. They're flying coach. They went in the back of an international flight. They also had a layover.
They had to prop her up in like an airport, like Applebee's. Honey, eat your burger.
No. See that's the middle act of the movie. It's just them getting her. See, that's a movie.
Yeah.
Why don't people make movies like that? You have the first act of the movie is just all this horrible mummy stuff. And then the rest of the movie is them just trying to get her home.
Yeah.
And they have a flight delay.
I mean, that would be a horror movie. That would be an awful experience.
She's got to board like probably early boarding because she's in the wheelchair, but they have to take the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can't have it on the plane. There's you got to sit in the airline seat. For safety reasons.
Sure.
You can't, because
even if you're a mummy.
Even if you're a mummy. Even if you're like, they're super old and you can barely walk, they wheel you up and then, they take you out and they sit you down in the seat. And so they would have to go through that whole process.
Yeah.
But they're in the back of the plane and the mummy has the middle seat. But at the last minute, they kind of move their seats around the flight so that the husband's like 2 rows ahead. And she's next to like
Oh,
some college students on their way to Mexico.
They're going for spring break.
Yeah. And the mother's on the other side of the plane. How's she doing? Oh God, there's a layover. And then they have to deplane. They go to Applebee's.
Of course.
And then their flight gets delayed, and they have to spend the night in Switzerland, in Stockholm. Well, that's in Sweden. Let's make it Stockholm.
Okay.
And then they have to find a hotel. They have to find an Uber that will accommodate her wheelchair in the back, but his Uber app isn't working, and he has to reload it with a new credit card because this credit card's expired from the Uber app. I can't get an Uber. That man's Irish, I think.
Oh, she's vomiting up green goo again. Get the car here quick.
They kicked him off the shuttle.
They think the mummy girl's drunk.
Yes. She partied a little too hard in Cairo. But we're laughing at this because that they just cut from Cairo to Albuquerque. And
Them wheeling her back into the house. No one's doing any tests or experiments or no research is being done. Just here's your daughter, go home.
Yeah, and Grandma's southwestern Pueblo mansion has a 1830s Victorian staircase. It's all made of oak, and it goes up for 4 different landings, and they
don't carry her up.
He could carry a 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl who has not eaten in 8 years up the stairs, but instead they drag her wheelchair, which is probably 3 times heavier than her, up the stairs with thud, 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 thud. And that's an answer to the doctor having said no loud noises, no jolting motions, blah, blah, blah. So I guess that means they were doing a bad job in awakening the mummy.
Sure.
I don't know what the point was, because you don't want cheap laughs done. It didn't play like for laughs. Because
No.
if you're playing it for laughs, you cut to the grandma's.
Yeah, no, I was laughing because it wasn't played for laughs.
I know. You cut to
Same
the-
with every other scene after that where they go into a room. I know that's a thing when you have, like, I don't know, someone who's sick or dying and you try and be, like, nice, and a family member, you want to treat it like nothing's wrong. They kind of do that, but it's a scary mummy girl, so it just comes across funny.
Yeah.
Every time they're in her room trying to treat her like she's normal.
Well, the thing is, they don't know that she has an ancient demon inside of her.
Yeah, they just think she's, like, sickly.
She's been in a coffin for 8 years, and she hasn't seen sunlight. She has been malnutritioned. Her fingernails and toenails are all grown out, and she's like contorted.
Yeah.
And she goes, makes like weird noises, yada yada yada. That is a situation for therapists and psychiatrists and counselors.
Again, that's The Exorcist. They show
physical
all that
therapists.
stuff. It's very, like, methodical. It's great.
Yeah, I know.
They do everything. Ellen Burstyn in The Exorcist does everything logical to try and figure out what the fuck is wrong with her daughter.
This girl is just like traumatized all to hell, and she's like catatonic. She needs to be in like a mental hospital for like 2 years to recover from this like situation she was in. She needs to be on like IVs. She needs to be like under medical care. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the wife was so dumb. She's just like, don't you love her? He's like, she should probably go to a goddamn hospital.
I mean, yeah, I guess to be fair, the dad is trying to be logical, but it's like an offhand thing way later in the movie than a conversation like that should come.
And the mother's response is, don't you love her? I can take care of her. He wrote the mother as a nurse, so she feels that compulsion.
But she never does anything nurse-like.
Well, she's got the...
That's it. They could have her like hooked to the bed with IVs and stuff, and the mom is like changing them out. Something that feels more real.
No one gave a proper medical diagnosis or treatment plan other than the Egyptian doctor in the World War II hospital, or the Black Plague hospital that was in a cave with torches.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been to Egypt. I don't know anything about it. I know there's some pyramids there. But I also know it's a modern country. They have an airport.
Oh.
There's airplanes. They do business there.
Oh my God! Do they have like televisions and phones?
Well, according to the movie, they only have VHS tapes and old TVs and old computers
and an Apple IIe computer.
I'm pretty sure they would have modern like high def televisions. There would be like modern facilities, power plants.
Yeah. To the point where if you found a VHS tape, you would have to spend like several days tracking down a VCR to be able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought at the very least, she watches it on VHS in Egypt, and then she travels over to America to visit the family. I thought at the very least she'd show up with like a USB stick or something, like transferred it. But no, they just have a VCR in their living room still.
I sure hope
and she plays the tape.
She made a copy.
Yeah.
Before it went through the radiation machine at the airport. I'm sorry, I brought the tape. But,
oh shit! They erased it at the
no.
airport. And then make the family watch their daughter suffer the most horrific, disturbing thing imaginable.
Yeah.
The dad's like, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. And I was thinking the same thing about the movie.
Dang.
What was our daughter doing in a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus?
She just needs our care and lots of love.
It's just fun to point out what to me comes across as like lazy shorthand to make something creepier.
Yeah, of course.
At the expense of any sort of believability.
The believability is all but lost.
Yeah, and when you're making a movie, especially one like this, like if it was goofier, like a goofy Evil Dead movie, whatever, but when you have something that is trying to be kind of real and grounded and about family, but then you just have like, none of it makes any sense, and then you have these spikes of absurd Evil Dead horror surrounding it. The funeral, the grandma dies, they have this big funeral scene, and that's where the movie just like went off the rails.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that.
It was like trying to be Hereditary early on, and then it just turns into Evil Dead.
Yeah. The grandma, after many times being assaulted and attacked by the daughter, headbutted and then finally she's just like, she tries to do like a Catholic prayer to the thing, and then throws her out the window. And then she lands on the hood of the car. And
then gets eaten by wolves.
And then the dad and the two kids are in the car. And at this point, the littlest daughter is being remotely possessed.
It's infecting, the evil's infecting the rest of the family.
Because it's the demon of the destroyer of families.
Yes, it spreads.
Which is just a cheap excuse to have Evil Dead monsters appear in other people.
Right.
Because Grandma then dies.
Because you don't have enough faith in your premise.
Yes.
It's not just a movie about a mummy. Oh, other people get infected now, so we can make more spooky things happen.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Because once the grandma's dead, then they almost immediately have a wake in the house.
Yeah. Which does happen. Some people do that.
Oh, it's a horror movie trope.
Yeah.
But in this particular situation, I would say let's have this at a funeral parlor, very far away from the house where our daughter is being locked in a bedroom upstairs.
Our daughter who just killed the grandmother.
Yes.
I was waiting when they were panning across at the funeral and we're seeing all the grieving family members and the son is on the couch. I was waiting for him to pan over and little mummy girl is like sitting there in a black dress.
Oh.
I was waiting for that and it didn't happen.
Well, they hand waved the whole like, why didn't the police get involved in this? Because the two women that were, the older women were like, I heard she fell out the window dusting drapes. And then they're like mocking her appearance. They're like Botox for corpses. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I thought they were going to get their comeuppance when Mummy cut them with her claws. But they just, I don't know what happened. Maybe they got killed. I don't know.
Well, this is the weirdest setup. There are things that are set up in the movie that pay off. There's like the Morse code. The little girl's learning Morse code, and the dad realizes later in the movie she's chattering her teeth in Morse code. But they spend multiple scenes in this movie establishing that the grandma has false teeth. Like a comical amount of time is spent on those false teeth before this payoff where now the newly possessed youngest daughter rips out all of her teeth and then puts in the grandma's fake teeth.
The logical part of my brain turns off when I'm like absorbed into the world and I go, well, that's okay. You know?
Sure.
But when
there's nothing to invest in though.
When there's nothing to invest in, and when like, I'm just like, why would they have the funeral or the wake? It's not even a funeral. They just have the body on display. And she died in like a horrific manner. Like, one, don't do that. Two, put her in the morgue for a week or two. I mean, maybe this was 2 weeks later. I don't know. But at that point, the daughter is not getting better. Why aren't you like taking her to a medical facility? Like all these like logical real world questions start like invading my brain. Like, why would you invite people over to the house?
Yeah.
After this tragedy happened? Like, have a wake 2 weeks from now at a different location, just send the mother.
Oh, that's why it was in the house, because this is a Blumhouse movie, and 90% of it has to take place in one location.
Was this filmed in the Blumhouse?
It was filmed in the literal Blumhouse, yeah.
I just want my daughter back.
How does this film compare to Lee Daniels, The Butler? Do you remember that?
I do. I had completely forgot about it until you just mentioned it.
I was just thinking. They made him call this Lee Cronin's The Mummy because The Mummy.
Well, if you watch the opening title screen of the movie, it's actually called The Lee Cronin's Mummy.
Yeah, Lee Cronin's.
I thought that was just going to be for marketing, but it is the title of the actual movie.
That's what happened with The Butler. Do you remember that?
I remember Lee Daniels, The Butler, but what was the story?
Well, it was about like the first like black butler in the White House, and I think it was it Forrest Whitaker in that? I can't remember who was in it. It was like produced by Oprah Winfrey. I think it kind of flopped, but it was just going to be called The Butler. So it was about the first black butler in the White, and he served like 9 presidents. It was like this epic historical drama, and then some guy owned the rights to something called The Butler from like 1952.
Oh.
And he's like, "You're not calling that film The Butler? I own The Butler." And he like tried to sue him. It was some old movie that no one remembers.
Okay.
And he tried to sue them, and they're like, "Fine, we'll call it Lee Daniels The Butler." And everyone was upset about it. That's why it failed.
Okay.
Because it was called Lee Daniels.
Everyone's like, who's Lee Daniels?
Everyone's like, who's Lee? Everyone's going to be like, who's Lee Cronin?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to be fair, like John Carpenter's early movies, he was calling them John Carpenter's, Assault on Precinct 13 before he was anybody.
Sure. You can do that.
But you can do that, but Lee Cronin is no John Carpenter. And I feel like it was done more by the studio than for any other reason, just to differentiate it.
But you could have very easily called this, the curse of the, I don't know, Nebuchadnezzar or whatever the villain was called.
It had some name.
The Nemoidian.
The Nemoidian. And then that's why it was funny when
Cairo
when the second girl got possessed and the parents were like, "This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them."
Yeah, yes, exactly. Oh, there are two of them. And then Lee Daniels showed up as the butler. "I'm the butler. I'm here to kick some ass.
I'm here to clean up all the vomit and blood and skin that's later on your house."
Yeah.
What was that early on when the husband
got a leak
goes...
in your roof.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just our daughter barfing on the floor, so the acid burns through the floor.
What was that? There's a scene early on where the husband goes in like some room and under the rug there's like gore.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that just the girl leaking something?
She was leaking disgusting gore so that she could slowly melt the floor.
That's where she
climbed
crawled
into
through.
the it was set up.
It's an airtight script.
So she could climb through the ceiling into the funeral
and just crash that funeral
and do a coffin flop.
We're just shooting funerals and showing the ones where the bodies fly out.
You can't show all those dead bodies.
Lee Cronin's coffin flop.
Yes, Lee Cronin's coffin.
We're allowed to show him nude because they ain't got no soul.
Take that, corncob TV, or should I say, elote cob TV? It's called a callback.
Yeah, it all comes together. In Lee Cronin's The Mummy.
Yeah, Abuela was talking about corn. Icharo elote. Elote is such a lovely word for corn. Elote. And we just call it corn. Corn.
What was that about corn?